All right, guys, here we are on the original about 1881 1882 main line for what was originally called the Atlantic and Pacific Railroad, which was later purchased, I believe, in I think 1897 by the Santa Fe. So this right here is going to be the original, where they were digging with basic tools here. You can look down here. Pardon my camera work, I've got my hands full. This cut down here, pardon the wind too, I'm not sure how it's going to pick up on the mic, but and over here you can obviously see the where the current railroad's at. They I want to say they rerouted it in the 20s. It could have been earlier, but this has been abandoned for at least 100 years where we're standing here. Kind of a little walk to get over here, but it's not the worst thing in the world. As long as you can get your car down the road that leads over here, you can make it work. But I wanted to give you guys a little tour of this. It's pretty neat. I like all this abandoned stuff. I'm not sure when the last human being was over here. Looks like it's been a good little minute. This is a free range, so they let cattle and horses graze out here. Now we got a train coming. And eastbound. See if we can plop the tripod down here and we'll show you what the view looks like. It'll be coming right over here along this rock face here. There he is. Definitely not a normal view that you would get. This location's impossible to get to unless you're doing a little bit of a walk, so we keep going down this way. So what you're going to see the train do here is take a sweeping right turn and head on into Pan Canyon, and straight ahead once we get there, you probably can't see it now, but there's a bridge that was built obviously after they rerouted the line here. But the curve, you can tell how easy it is for the train to go into that curve. Once upon a time, the trains ran right here, and it was much more difficult of a turn, so they had to go a lot slower. And which obviously was probably a big reason why they did a realignment. One thing that's always struck me about how they had to build the railroads back in the day is how obviously they had no power tools or bulldozers and really even just basic dynamite. They had to use the land and had to use what the land would basically allow them to do with the least amount of effort possible. And this is pretty much what you get here. You've got them hugging the line of the or hugging the rocks here so they wouldn't have to blast as much. And they also tried to get the most direct route anyway they were going. So they had to really choose their paths wisely. And the surveyors back then, a lot of those people died because they'd have to go out way ahead of where the end of the line was being built and find a suitable way forward. And a lot of them either got killed by animals or Indians, I mean, you name it. But pretty interesting to see, and to kind of walk in the footsteps of these guys right here, because like I said, 150 years ago, I guess 140 now, there'd have been a train right here, we'd be walking on a railroad track. So it's pretty neat to see what it's become, and really for the fact that it's even still here, you know. And obviously you can really get a really good view here of what the line looked like there, what the engineer would have saw. I'm really glad a train came over here so you can kind of see the difference. If I do some more, or if I find out when they actually did realign the tracks, I'll put that in the video. I want to give you guys as much info as I can. But I'm gonna get down here to the end, guys, and then we'll catch up back with you. All right, guys. So what we're looking at here is just how drastic that realignment was. You can see this track really kind of goes straight into that, or where it used to go straight into where the bridge is at now. But they also did a pretty impressive fill. It looks like they bumped the tracks up quite a bit in height in order to do all this. Of course, you got to realize this rest of this railroad over here is all fill. That was all man-made. Well, like I said before, it's really interesting to see how they built this with just basic hand tools and just a lot of brute strength. And of course what we're standing on is fill, of course, obviously, but really interesting to see how they just navigated the landscape as it allowed them. And what a beautiful landscape it is. Figured there might be some artifacts along here, so if I discover any, I'll let you guys know. If I can find out when this bridge was built, I'll let you guys know, and that'll pretty much give us our answer on the realignment. Let's see if we can get through here without too many problems. It'd be a little more difficult than I thought, but I'll do some more research, guys, and I'll let you know. I'm sure that's written somewhere. I can find it. But so this is going to be the east end of where they realigned it. I'm still just amazed at how much taller the tracks are compared to when they came through here originally. That's a large project and large amount of fill that's required for that. But so what I'm going to do now, guys, is there's supposed to be a station platform, or at least a big concrete pad where a station may or may not have been. There, on old timetables, there was a station called Pan, and of course right here, if you recognize this bridge from the last video, me and Mr. Miranda, we parked our vehicle over this hill here, and then hiked in this way. That station I'm talking about, or the concrete slab, is going to be down this way. It's going to be quite a walk, but it's definitely worth looking at. I think on the maps, on Google Maps, it showed, you know, maybe some old ties and some wood and stuff just laying there. So I figured that'd be worth a look. But so let me hike down there, guys. It'll take me a few minutes, and then I'll catch you back up. All right, guys, we're on our way back to that cut now, and I was just thinking on the walk over here, if you guys are familiar with Santa Fe history, I don't know the exact year. I want to say maybe 1905 or 1909, definitely before 1910. So this particular line would have been active at that time, but that's when they ran the Scott Special. And Scott Special was basically a publicity stunt to see how fast this train could get from LA to Chicago. And in whenever it was, early 1900s, they made the trip in 44 hours, I believe. And that would have come right through here. Absolutely, positively would have come through here, which is really neat. I'm thinking, without doing any research, I'm thinking that this this realignment right here is no newer than 1912. I know in 1912 they rebuilt the railroad tie here. They rebuilt the or they built the eastbound line over by Crookton, and we'll actually go over there at the end of this video. I'll take you over there. It's pretty neat. But whoops, sorry again guys for the damn roughness of the video. I got all my hands full here. But I'll show you guys that overpass. I've been over there before, but I've never taken a video over there. All right, so now we're in this cut here. Definitely man-made. Take another look back this way. Really beautiful out today. If you're gonna do a hike like this, it better be a nice day like this for sure. It's probably not any more than 80 degrees out today. Somehow the flies always seem to find you though, whether you're eating at a burger joint or you're walking in the middle of nowhere. Really interesting to see. This is, I'm guessing, been abandoned for about 100 years at the least. I'm thinking the latest of my estimates about 1924 or so, 1923 potentially. So we're at least at 100 years for this, and still in relatively decent shape. You can obviously tell it's man-made, but you know, it hasn't really eroded all that much. But like I say, sure is beautiful out here. I'm kind of surprised I don't see as many artifacts as I thought I would. This area is really off the beaten path unless you're kind of looking for it and interested in going over to it. Let's see here. The tarantula hawk there. I want to avoid him. Wow. Definitely had some erosion here. By the time we get to the end of this, guys, you'll see that platform, and you'll also see where it kind of joined up with where the tracks are at now. So you can see the whole realignment in its entirety there. Had a pretty good erosion right there. Hoping there's a place to get out over here so I don't have to walk all the way back, but I guess we'll have to find out. While we're walking here, guys, let me know in the comments if you guys like this type of stuff, doing some exploration. I will take you guys over to the Johnson Canyon Tunnel sometime this year. Won't be on this trip, but I'll definitely take you over there. It's really neat. A lot of cool stuff along that route, and especially you get to the end and you have the tunnel there, and that's just a really absolute treasure. I'm glad they saved it. All right, so now we've got some pretty good definite erosion here. But it looks like they came this way. There's a railroad tie. What I'd like to do is see if any of these ties have date nails in them. That would give us a really good indicator here. Oh, that's not a nail. Thought it might be a nail. Can't move it with one hand or one leg. I'll come back to that later. If we could find a date nail in it, that would definitely date this place, because it wouldn't be any newer than the nail. I'm gonna get up here on the top, guys, so you can kind of see where we're at here. Getting close to the current railroad once again. See that pad just yet, but I know it's up here shortly, because they're it's right next to where the current railroad starts. You know what, it might be up here. Oh, excuse me. Go back down here, guys. This all up here looks like man-made clearing here, really flat. Makes me wonder if they had two tracks here, because there's a little bit of a cut here and a cut there as well. So that actually would not surprise me at all. That might be man-made, I'm not sure. Kind of hard to tell from this angle here, but this clearing here has to be man-made. It's extremely level. I'm gonna do a little more walking, guys. Hand's getting kind of tired holding the camera, so I'll update you when we find that concrete. All right, guys, so a little bit of new development here. Took a little bit of a stroll up on the I stopped filming down here towards the second bush, and so this is another I'm kind of really curious how they had this laid out. They must have had the station in this area here. We're not quite there yet. I believe it's on the top of this behind this other tree here, but we got this fill right here that lines up precisely with the cut up there. So we're gonna kind of make our way down here, and the station area should be over here, based on what I understand on the map. They would have had a bridge or something of the sort right here in this wash. You can see here the pylons and stuff are obviously all gone, but definitely was a bridge there at one point. Let's keep going up this way a little bit here. And I got an old barrel up here. That might be interesting. I don't know. Like I said, hopefully you guys enjoy this type of outdoorsy stuff. I'm just a huge Santa Fe buff, and I think this stuff out here is just the coolest thing. Seeing where we came from and where we're at now is pretty interesting. Starting to get into some old cans and stuff. Let's see here, an old telephone pole there. I wonder if we got any markings on it. Sometimes they put markings on these as well. I know back in Kansas, they a few of them were labeled as Santa Fe. Got an old insulator there. That's pretty cool. I don't see any nails or anything, so we'll keep going this way here. Very unstable rocks and stuff. We're getting into a lot of cans and stuff, guys, so we're getting close to something. I can feel it. Let's see here. That's for sure. Alright, another telephone pole there. Back on the railroad grade here. Interesting to see these random bushes just sprout up in the right of way when there's none for a while, and there's just a random bush that's been there for 90 years. Okay, so we're coming to the end of the fenced off portion here. Where the heck is this thing? I'll include a screenshot, guys, of the Google Maps to kind of show you where we're at and where this station should be, but we're pretty much where it should be at. I'm going to try and look for a way around here. Here's a good shot, guys. I'm going to take you zoomed in a little bit here. You can really see the fill right there going into that cut back there. So we're definitely in the right spot, but I know the station is a little more west of the fill here, so, or more west of that that little, what used to be a bridge right there in that wash. So I'm gonna hike around here, guys, take a look and see what I can find. I'll get back with you shortly. All right, guys, I found a way through here in this fence, so got a few more artifacts here. Got some barbed wire to navigate here. But the good news about this is we're already on the other side of the fence, so we should be able to get back a little easier. A lot more ties and stuff. Do some more picking here. Something was living under there. We'll leave him be. Another place you got to watch out for snakes and stuff. Oh, look, there it is. Found it. So it looks like, yeah, look at that. The tracks ran right here. Right alongside here, and there's the station. Wow, how about that? That's neat. Well, Mr. Miranda, once you watch this, This will give us our answer on where Pan Station was. Really neat. Pretty good size too. Probably wasn't a whole lot going on here, but they definitely had a decent little platform here, and other associated items. But you can see we're how close it is to the current railroad here, and just how far away it is when you think about it, because it's not connected anymore. But you can see here we're almost at grade with the current railroad, and it actually is all uphill from that bridge down there earlier. All of it's uphill, so it would have leveled out up here in this general vicinity. And yeah, so how about that? Got all your old rebar and stuff here. It's definitely been abandoned a long time for sure. I would say, like I said before, at least 100 years. While we're sitting here, we've got another green over red for an eastbound, so maybe he'll come by by the time we stay here. But all right, guys, I'm gonna look around a little bit. I guess hopefully you found this pretty interesting. It's definitely kind of blowing my mind here. I'm not sure, like I said before earlier in the video, when last time a human being was really kind of digging around over here, but there's a lot of little artifacts and stuff, so I'm gonna look around and see what I can find. But if I don't find anything, I will see you guys a little later over at that Glede, what's called Glede overpass, a little closer to Ash Fork than we are now, and then we'll go from there and show you that spot. So we'll talk to you guys a little bit later on. Yeah, before we go over there, guys, I saw something kind of interesting. May or may not have been true, but I don't know if you remember when we're back at that cut. Yeah, we're gonna have some noise here. Hang on a second. I'll let you guys watch the DPU of this manifest roll by. Looks like a damn near new ace here. Step back a little bit. So the fill we were on is right here. Obviously it runs parallel to the station on this side, but what I'm wondering is where it split off up there right after that cut, is if there was two tracks that ran here. This might have been a small passing siding / station, because over here we also have a little bit of an indentation for a pair of tracks. So it could have been a small passing siding for the of course, back in the day, guys, these trains were not very long. We're talking, 9-10 cars, maybe 20 maximum. So that's definitely a possibility, but I wanted to include that here in this video. But like I said, I'll include a map here. Should be looking at it right now. And it's a really neat little spot. Pretty cool to see it here after all these years and still able to get to it. And right next to the tracks too, so while you're doing your little hunt, little excursion, you can watch some trains while you're at it. So pretty neat. But I'll show you, I'll catch up with you guys here after a little while. It'll probably be a couple hours from now. I'm gonna do some more exploration here and potentially get something to drink over in Seligman. Then I'll head back over toward Ash Fork and that Glede overpass, guys, which I think you guys will like that. Really neat area, and they actually turned the both of those old railroad grades into private roads, so people actually live off those roads now and kind of off grid. It's pretty neat. But we'll get you guys over there shortly, and we'll see you over there. Alright guys, we're gonna turn off of Route 66 here. This is, if I had to guesstimate, I'd say, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 miles away from the spot we were at on the original main line there. Take care of some of this squeaking here. There we go. Alright. So, this road right here is going to take us to the old the eastbound main that was created, I want to say, in the 20s, but like I said, don't hold me to it. Portions of this line were double tracked at different times, so this may or may not have been you know, one of the earlier segments. I believe it was in the 20s from my research, but I could definitely be wrong. I know that the eastbound line between Ash Fork and Williams was 1912, but this particular one I'm not sure. So right here, guys, is the rail bed. This would have been for eastbound trains, and it's actually fairly well maintained here. I'm gonna try to hold the camera up high enough so you can see here. But what we're gonna come to up here is that flyover I told you about. And all along the way here, you're gonna see these old concrete pilings, which is where signals were at. Like I said, this is now I'm not sure if it's a county road or what it is, but it does, people live out here, so now we're coming up on what used to be the overpass. Now you can tell that obviously they've kind of rerouted the road here. I'll slow down so you can see here. And I've got an old picture. I'll try to get out on the other side over there and show you. But I've got an old picture that was taken by John Barriger back in the late 30s. He was taking an eastbound train on this track, and he actually took a photo looking right at us from the other side of the bridge over there, and which is pretty neat. There's also there's not very many pictures from this place, from this area, but the one picture that I know exists is it was taken up in this general vicinity. It's really hard to kind of tell what's going on up there, but it was looking down towards us here, and there was an old steam engine. It's actually a color photo, but it's very old, and so what we've got here is this was the original 1882 main line, and eventually obviously went into Santa Fe in the 1890s. Okay, this is what westbound trains would have taken. Okay, and then this right here is the Glebe overpass. Okay, still actually in relatively really good shape. I haven't been able to find a date on this either, but once again, I do want to say it's somewhere in the 20s. Excuse me. And yeah, this area over here, if you can imagine, I'll put up a picture that I took a couple years ago when I was here, and I'll compare it with this other picture that I wanted to show you guys. But a really neat picture, but it actually was in the rails were in service here. And if you look, let's see here, if you look back here, you can really kind of tell the way it used to look when it was in service. I'm not going to go all the way down. This road does get pretty rough, but you can see another you know, concrete piling over there where they used to have a little bridge for a wash over there. But no, it's a really neat structure, guys. I think you know, this is especially when you think about this thing was in use in the 1800s all the way till 1959 or so. Really neat to see all the history that's still here, and the fact that you can actually still visit this place and it still serves its purpose is pretty neat. But I think you guys will enjoy that that photo that I'm going to put up on the screen here. Basically what you're looking at, like I said, you're looking at Mr. Barriger. I want to say it's about 1938 when that was taken. Most of those photos from the from that same album were from that year, and it depicts him going over this overpass here, okay, and going obviously somewhere eastbound. Oh man, really cool. I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna park and show you guys around a little bit here. So give me a couple minutes here, and I'll join you guys outside. All right, guys, another quick view here. I did climb up to that once. I'm willing to do it again. Give me a few minutes. That way you can see a little better view of it, not just from the picture I put in there. I am going to go check this little drain over here, though. Looks like it might have a date on it. That'd be helpful. And we can put that debate to rest. It may have had a date on it. Might be eroded too much here, but it looks like it had a date on it at one time, but I can't quite make it out. Most of this stuff they actually dated. It's kind of interesting that they didn't date this one, but they very well may have. But like I say, it's eroded to the point where you can't see it. I'm trying to find a date nail here, but can't find one of those either. Not that it would matter much in this particular spot, because this place was active until 1958, 1959. So. But it would be cool to get squared away exactly when they built it. But now I'll go climb up here shortly, guys, and get you a video from up there, and then we'll figure out where to take the video from that point. All right, guys, here we are. Sorry about the wind, but this gives you a really good view of the architecture and how they designed this flyover. Like I said, the original main line was right here, and the flyover, the tracks diverged a little ways down that way, and this one obviously came all the way up here. That picture I was telling you about was taken probably, I don't know, maybe 50, 100 feet away from me here, looking this direction. So that should, I'll go ahead and throw that picture back in right now so you guys can kind of match that up. Pretty neat. And yeah, the westbound line, well, let me give you some different information. So the reason they abandoned this line was because the grades were too steep coming out of Williams and going into Williams. Matter of fact, the Johnson line, which is where the tunnel is at, I want to say that's like a 4 or 5% grade all the way down, and so the railroad decided to abandon it in favor of a more northerly route, which goes 30-40 miles up north, and then we're actually real close to where it ends over here in Crookton. But they were able to build that in the 60s, the late 50s, early 60s, when they had access to bulldozers and stuff, and they can kind of put the route where they wanted it instead of going with what the earth told them they could do. Yeah, I thought that was an 80, maybe not. precarious position. I don't want to find out, either drop the camera or drop myself. So, but no, guys, this is a really neat area. It hasn't changed much in, you know, the 100 or so years it's been here. And my next adventure, which I might venture up a little bit today, is to follow the main line here. You can kind of see where it's cut into the countryside here. Basically, it kind of goes from here, weaves its way up in through here. You can kind of see it way over there as well, the fill. It goes all the way around, comes back up right there, and then eventually winds up over at Crookton, where you guys have seen in a few different videos. Yeah, it's really neat to look at all this history, guys. Hopefully you're enjoying this as much as I am. But what a view from up here too. I mean, I can imagine a steam engineer, or really either any engineer, diesel or steam, coming over this going eastbound. Especially, you know, like I said, 100 years ago, this is a massive feat of engineering. We would take that for granted today, for sure. Barring any other little excursions here on this line, guys, this may or may not be the end of the video. If that's how it ends up going, I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you guys next time. I do think I am gonna see how far I can get on this Crookton road, or on this Glede road here, just for the hell of it. And then by that time, the lighting should be better for some westbound trains. So see if we can get back over to the real tracks and see what we can find. So we'll either talk to you here soon, guys, or you guys have a great one, and we'll see you guys next trip.